What's up, everybody? SaneZ3 here, back at you with another video. This is gonna be my Piccolo character analysis, but quick couple of things I gotta say real quick. Okay. The first thing is, there's this new anime reviewer who's trying to come up in the community. His name is Super Tom. I forget, he has some numbers after his name. I forget him, but I've been talking to this guy on Skype, so I know him pretty well. He's actually started up a collab group called Toho Shinki 101. I'll put his channel in the description box below so you guys can check him out. No videos yet, but he has a pretty good sense of humor. I think he's someone that's probably gonna be worth your time. He knows about his Marvel, he knows about his American comic book heroes, some of the old school stuff. Pretty big on, I would say, both Naruto and One Piece. So it's sort of your big three stuff. So yeah, just check him out. The second thing that I want to address is some of the Battle of God stuff you guys have been sending me. I guess I'll just do like a little quick little news segment here before I get into the actual character analysis. The first thing is that Battle of Gods has actually been officially been set to premiere in theaters in Latin America in 2014. So now some of you guys are thinking, oh yeah, is it coming to America? Now, it might be coming. It might be coming. If you guys didn't know, this past weekend in Raleigh, North Carolina, during the event Animazement 2013, some of the members of the English cast of Dragon Ball Z and the original Japanese cast met together in a panel called DBZ East Meets West, and it was an amazing panel. You can find the whole panel on YouTube. It's a 1 hour 18-minute clip by someone called the original Billis. I might link it if I'm not lazy enough, but you guys can check that out. Just type in DBZ Animazement 2013. You guys will be able to see it. It was a panel between Sean Schemmel, Sean Schemmel, who was the voice of Goku, Nail, and King Kai, Kara Edwards, who does Goten and Trunks, and who else? Kyle Hebert, who does Gohan, and he was the previous narrator in Z but he's not in Kai. And he's Buu Saga Gohan. Forgot to mention that. He's also Piccolo, but that's not in Kai. So, and for the Japanese people, you got Masako Nozawa, who does all three of the English cast's characters' voices: Goku, Gohan, and Goten. Regardless of what you guys might think, she's an amazing voice actor. I'm telling you guys, Masako Nozawa, don't underestimate her. She's one of my favorites. Okay, she was there. Toshio Furukawa was there, who voices Piccolo. He also did Toki, or was it Toki or Shu in Fist of the North Star? I forget who. But he did a pretty important character in Fist of the North Star. I think it was Shu, and he also did Ace in One Piece, so he was there as well. Ryusei Nakao, before I get to Nakao, Yukio Minaguchi was there. She does Videl, she also met Kara Edwards, who also did Videl. Masako did the same thing with Sean Schemmel. And then the fourth Japanese person to be there was Ryusei Nakao, who did Frieza. He also does Caesar Clown in the Japanese version. He also did Cooler. So yeah, it was a nice little panel. Now, what does this have to do with Battle of Gods? They were sort of promoting the new movie. We don't know if there's going to be an English release yet or not, but with the thing about it being released in 2014 in Latin America, that's going to be pretty, I guess, what's the word? Hopeful, uplifting, whatever the word is you guys are looking for in terms of it being released here in the States. For actual subs and stuff, the DVDs and Blu-rays are coming out in August, September, both on DVD and Blu-ray, so you guys won't have to wait too long for that. It's almost June anyway, so around 3 months. Personally, from what I've garnered, I can just tell you now, it's looking for me like somewhere between a 7 and an 8.5 probably. I'll obviously do a full review of the movie when it comes out, but yeah, I think that's it for my news and my Battle Gods and the shout out. So I will do the Piccolo character analysis starting right now. Okay, Piccolo, my third favorite character in the entire series. Love him. A very popular character. Actually, Sean Schemmel did Goku and Kara Edwards. Coincidentally, I just referenced them in Animazement. They actually said that Piccolo was their favorite character in the show, even though they voiced totally different characters. So a very popular character, and of course Toshio Furukawa, who was at the panel himself. He's his Japanese seiyuu. My third favorite character, very popular character, stoic, silent character. Is there anything else I need to say about him? Oh yeah, behind Goku and Vegeta. Goku's my first, Vegeta's my second. Like I said, my third favorite character. What can I say about Piccolo? Okay, I guess I'll just start with how he was born. Okay, Piccolo was basically born from a grudge of revenge by the original King Piccolo. Okay, it's interesting because Piccolo's identity is one of the many themes that goes around in terms of his character throughout the entire series. Um, and it even starts with his quote unquote his father or his reincarnation, or his previous avatar, if that's how you want to call it. King Piccolo was basically an evil Whitebeard. That's the best way I can say it. If you guys watch One Piece, you guys know who Whitebeard is. And the reason I say that is because one, he's very powerful. Two, he was very well known and very well feared, if that's a word that I can use or a phrase. But like Whitebeard, he put a heavy emphasis on family, and I guess that's sort of like King Cold, who is of course Frieza's father. But he put a very heavy emphasis on family, and this sort of transferred to Piccolo in a very unexpected way, because King Piccolo was all. I don't want to go too much into him, but he was all about protecting his roots and stuff. But that's enough about King Piccolo. Basically, King Piccolo dies and he gets a hole through his chest and spits out an egg, and this egg lands somewhere, and out of it hatches Piccolo with clothes on. Clothes, at least in the manga. I think in the anime he's shown with no clothes. When he's hatched out of the egg, but and immediately he says that he hates peace. Okay, so he's born from a grudge of revenge. And it's because that when Piccolo matures, like around between the 3 year time skip that happens between when King Piccolo dies and when the 23rd World Tournament happens, he realizes that his purpose in life is already set, and he is mournful because of it. He's very distraught. Well, I don't want to say distraught. He's very mournful and sad about it because he didn't have his own opportunity to figure out what his own life should be like, or what he wants it to be like. His purpose initially was set for him from the very moment he was born. And his childhood was very tough because of that, because he was a self-reliant person and he did not have anyone to rely on. And because of that, he never could foster some of the relationships that people like Goku and Gohan could get. And because of that, he became a very tough, badass person who was very mournful and sad about his own existence, pretty much. And there's one quote that he says to Gohan when he's training him before Vegeta and Nappa and the Cybermen, so essentially like the Saiyans, arrive. He tells him that when Gohan's complaining about the training, the bitterness of the training that Piccolo's giving him, the bitterness of his past, is sort of self-reciprocated in this quote that he says. He says, "If you want to complain, curse your fate, as do I." And this is a very good line for Piccolo, because this is something that I don't think many people remember when they were little. I think only people who have rewatched the series would get this. It just shows the sort of tragic side to his character, because he never really had a choice in who he wanted to be. And this quote is probably the best example of him showing that. Okay, and with that sort of inner turmoil, he turns from it. It pretty much expresses his journey from villain to anti-hero to hero. Now, this sounds a little more similar to Vegeta, but the scope in which he does it in is a little more smaller. The length of his journey is a little more smaller, so it's not seen as like dramatic as him. But many people regard both Vegeta and Piccolo the two best characters in the show because of that, and I think it's just a testament to how great a character he is. This is going to be a little awkward placement for this, but Godzilla Padilla Z was really looking forward to this, so I'm doing my best to make sure that I make this as good as I can, okay? And the turning point in Piccolo's character really happened when he started to bond with Gohan, because Gohan was the first relationship that he had. He was pretty much the first person that he actively tried to spend time around, and it was the first time he had felt the experience of, I guess you can say, love in a sense, and in not only love but joy also. But joy like in the good sense, not like murderous joy when he was like torturing Goku at the 23rd World Tournament. It was more about like, yeah, I helped this person grow, and that all came to a head when he sacrificed himself for Gohan when Nappa tried to kill Gohan, and of course Piccolo ran and set himself in front of him so that Gohan wouldn't die. Now, in terms of how well this was written, people tend to think that because of the anime that Gohan had time to dodge. And maybe he did. I don't remember in the manga how much time there was between the blast and such. But if you guys think about it, it was actually very in character for Gohan to be frozen because he was pretty much a scaredy ass bitch back then. And only when Piccolo died did he really grow like a pair of nuts. At what? How old was he? 9 years. Wait, no, 5 years old. Sorry. Wait, no. Wait, how old is? Yeah, he is 6 years old. Sorry, 6 years old because there's a year between when Raditz dies and the Saiyan appears. The Saiyans appear. So yeah. So he's six. He's 6 years old, and that just says something to his character because Gohan grows a pair of nuts at 6 years old, and ironically, Piccolo is actually only a couple of years older than him. I don't know how he matured so quickly, but that's pretty much his turning point for Piccolo's character when he sacrificed himself. It really shows how far he came as a character, and he cries on his deathbed too. So now we get the whole feeling that he's pretty much a good guy. Okay, and everything after that, his journey as from villain to hero is pretty much done at that point. So it's a little short-lived, but everything after that is just great for him because everything after this is now about him and his identity, who he is as a character, and like what he is, who he is exactly. Okay, because when the Saiyans appear, Nappa specifically tells him that he's not an Earthling or even a demon for that matter. He's actually a Namekian, and much like how this affected Goku early in the Saiyan saga, and how it went into the Frieza saga, and about him accepting about who he really is. This sort of thing also holds true for Piccolo. Piccolo, he's so shocked at the fact that he's a Namekian, and he can't really come to grips with it until he's revived on planet Namek. Okay, now the change, his acceptance of him being a Namekian isn't as profound or I want to say as gradual as Goku's because it's a little faster in how it happens. But when he does find out, he's sort of almost quickly able to get over the fact that he's someone different, and given his character, that makes sense because he's hard-nosed, he's tough, he's badass. When he gets revived on planet Namek, he actually remarks on how like sort of drab the planet looks and how sort of boring it kind of is, right? And his acceptance of him being a Namekian doesn't actually happen until he fuses with Nail. When he fuses with Nail and he tries to understand when he fuses with Nail, he accepts his whole heritage, his whole being, of him being a Namekian. Basically, he realizes that Namekians act different. They are different. Their behavior and their culture is a little different, and he sort of molds into that culture, but he also retains what he learned on Earth. And to me, that's pretty good because the way in which he sort of melds those two makes him pretty stark in comparison to other Namekians, specifically people like Muri, Dende, Guru, who are pretty peaceful people, pretty friendly people. Okay, and that's pretty much his Frieza arc, and then in the androids arc, so from the Namek to the androids arc, his major turning point is him fusing with Kami. Okay, because now not only has he accepted the fact that he is a Namekian, but him fusing with Kami is him not only accepting the fact that he's already accepted the fact that he's a Namekian, but him fusing with Kami puts validation into who he is as a person, and that's probably my favorite moment of Piccolo when he fuses with Kami, because he finally accepts who he is as a person. It's not so much about his race or his It's not so much about his race. Over here, I was gonna say it's not about his identity when it actually the opposite is true. it is about his identity. It's about how he's come together as a complete character. He's become wiser. He's not as hot-headed. He's still silent. He's still badass. And when he fuses with Kami, he actually becomes the strongest Z fighter on the show. Even stronger than Vegeta and Goku, as both of them as Super Saiyans. Right? And at that point, he can pretty much one-shot any form of Frieza at that point. So that's pretty much his character arc at that point. Him accepting himself from the Saiyan saga to the Android arc when he fuses with Kami. I mean, that's pretty much his character arc. Everything after that, he fights 17, which is one of the best fights in the series in my opinion. And then you get to the Buu saga, right? And over here you see him take on more of like an uncle status, a more comedic status, a more mentorly status. And I thought that was actually kind of good for his character. Pretty much brought like a new sort of like happy side to him, if you know what I mean. And if you guys know anything about Toriyama, that he likes to do that with serious characters. He likes to go against the unexpected. Likes to make the most serious characters like have a comedic side to them, Sort of like how Oda has done it with Law, if I want to say, if that's a good what's the word I'm looking for? If that's a good allegory, is that it? Allusion? I don't know. Analogy. I'll just say analogy. Okay, yeah. So, and his importance during the Buu saga, if you guys don't remember, he was actually absorbed by Buu for his intelligence and his brains. So, he still retains some importance in the saga, even though, he's clearly dwarfed in strength by most of the other Saiyans, okay? Is there anything else I really need to say? Yeah, and pretty much him and Vegeta are seen as the most intelligent of the Z fighters. Well, Vegeta's the better tactician, but I think in overall intelligence, Piccolo's probably smarter. There is something else I don't, for Goku and Vegeta, I never really said any, GT stuff, but, I don't know. For Vegeta, for GT, him becoming the villain was great. Yeah, this is gonna be this part's gonna be like my 3 previous character analysis. I'm gonna try and condense it into one, even though it's not canon. Vegeta becoming the villain, Goku getting Super Saiyan 4, like other villains becoming stronger than he is, and because Goku pretty much becomes more self-reliant. Vegeta sort of comes to terms with the fact that Goku's stronger than him and seems to be doing okay with it, becomes the villain again, so that's good. Piccolo's death in GT, this is probably one of the best moments in GT for me, and one of my favorite moments in the series overall, because if there's one Z fighter that I had to choose to be killed off, it'd probably be Piccolo, and not because I hate the character, because, like I said, he's my 3rd favorite character, but he has been a staple of the series, and his death considering how popular he is, his death would be pretty emotional for some of the people. I think that people like, especially Goku, Gohan, and Dende, those 3 specifically would get great character development if his death happened the way it did. Piccolo, when you see him bleeding in terms of all the lava, and then you see that then he says, I've had a good life and stuff. I'm just like, wow, man, this scene is so great but so sad, and it's GT, but I thought it was a good scene, and even in the final episode of GT, which to me is one of my favorite episodes in anything, honestly. When you see Goku arrive in Hell and tell Piccolo that he'll someday get out of here, and then Piccolo just looks at him and Goku's gone, just says like, "I'll see you again later, old friend." Yo, man, you've got to really appreciate the Dragon Ball series and know everything about it and be interested in it to fully like grasp like the emotional impact of that line right there. Yeah, yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about Piccolo. I guess that's my Piccolo character analysis. I guess my next character analysis would probably be Bardock. Bardock's my 4th favorite character in the series, so I'm probably going to do him next. And I'm probably going to do the pros and cons of Cowboy Bebop. I know I promised that a long time ago, but people have been clamoring for that because I like it more than Samurai Champloo, and people find a problem with that, so I'm just going to do my best to to put those 2 videos out. So be on the lookout for those 3: my Bardock analysis and my pros and cons of Cowboy Bebop. And of course, the chapters are about to come release tonight. So Toriko, that chapter V is coming out. So that's 4. So yeah. With that, I want to thank you guys for watching. Always nice to see that people view my videos. If you guys have anything else that you guys want to know about or request or just have questions in general, just put it in the comments below. I'm about to reach 150 almost, so if you guys could sort of boost that in some way, I mean, I'd be grateful. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.